Hello and welcome. You're watching Your Trades on ET Now. I am Snehi Shah. This is the show where we'll be taking you through the entire market setup that we've seen today, all the market moves, and how today has rounded up to be, and how we've shut shop for the day. And just on that note, it's been a very positive session for us. It's the sixth consecutive day of gain for our markets back home. Nifty has held up in a very solid fashion, because at one point of the trading day, we had also managed to cross 23,700. 23,704 being our highest point of the trading day. Nifty 50 has closed at 23,660 thereabouts, so roughly 50 points lower than the day's highest point, but nothing to worry about at all because of 1.3% uptick. Another 1% uptick is what we've seen on the index today. We started only on a very solid footing, and over there it's only been one way up. And the same applies for Nifty Bank as well. That's been the clear outperformer in today's trading session. A 2.2% intraday gain coming in for Nifty Bank, and very solid show of support coming in from not only the private banks, case in point being Kotak Bank, that was up 4.5% in today's trading session, but you also had very solid moves coming in from private banks, the likes of Canara Bank, IOB, PNB, SBI, Bank of Baroda. All of these stocks have done very well in today's trading session. Let's pull up the Sensex, because Sensex too has been a newsmaker in itself today. We've managed to cross the 78,000 mark. We had managed to cross on the Sensex today. Have ended slightly lower than that, but once again a 1.4% uptick coming in on the Sensex. So absolutely, it's not been a bad day for us at all. Let's talk about some other big news of the day then, and lots of stocks were in focus. Before we do that, let's just quickly touch upon what the broader markets have done in today's trading session. They were largely in line with what the benchmark has done today. Mid cap was up 1.3%, small cap also in the vicinity of just 1.1% gain coming in on the small cap index as well. What was key to watch today was the India VIX, because of all these gains that we've seen. India VIX is indicating that the volatility in the market has tapered up, and it's a 9% uptick coming in on India VIX on an intraday basis. 13.7 is how we've closed on the India VIX today. Sectorally, all sectors have ended in the green today, with PSU banks being your biggest gainer, with Nifty Media, Nifty FMCG and Metal being your least gainer. So it's been both banks, your private and public, realty, energy, IT, auto, pharma, metal, FMCG, media. That's the pecking order of all your most gainers to least gainers in today's trading session. Let's touch upon some big news of the day. DLF gains on the 2x PAT guidance that they've given by 2030. It's nothing new. The street was made well aware of this in advance, but on the back of that analyst meet and some neutral brokerage notes coming in from Antique and Nomura, that stock was up about 1.5%. CLSA's high conviction outperform on REC is something that they had in set out a coverage on that stock. So REC has also done very well in today's trading session. It's an order win boost came in for BEML, NCC, RVNL, rather RailTel also was one of the big performers in today's trading session. And well, on the political front, Kunal Kamra's jokes have landed him in trouble once again on a lighter note. So that is something that we are going to be monitoring closely, and we are going to be giving you more updates on that, because you also have the supporters of the Maharashtra Chief Minister that have gone ahead and they have totally destroyed the habitat where this particular set took place. So that's the update on everything that's been happening inside and outside of the market. But let's now connect with Richard Jain, Vice President, Equity Technical Research, Wealth Management, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, to understand and make sense of the day that we've seen today. Richard, very good day of gains coming in, and it's looking like, we are on a solid footing to continue to see more green on the street going ahead as well. I want to ask you about India VIX, because, we've seen these 1% gains coming in. If I'm not wrong, the last week we had two trading sessions where we have seen more than a percent gain coming in on the Nifty alone. On those days, the broader markets were also doing rather well. Nifty Bank was doing well. The situation was, very close to what it has been today. Apart from all of this, what has led the India VIX to spike up 9% today? Because on all of those instances, it was rather stable, but right now it's up 9%. So what has led to this spike in India VIX today?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon. No, recently we have seen that the VIX has seen a very sharp correction, and till yesterday it was trading around the very lower levels of 11, 12, which was a multi-month low. I think just because there's a there's that event of World Cup coming ahead of US tariffs on April 2nd. So I think just generally we see that ahead of any such event where uncertainty is there, the VIX witnesses some up move. I think that could be one of the reason why we have seen a bit rise in the VIX. But the kind of broader markets buying interest that we have seen since last 1 week, and since the market seemed to resume its broader degree uptrend, I don't think that needs to be a factor of worry, at least for short to medium term. So I think it's just one of a pullback move from the oversold levels because of the event ahead. And once the event surpasses and once the clarity is there, I think VIX would again cool off and continue to trade within the range which we have seen over the last few weeks.
Well, that's on VIX. So we're expecting a cool off because 9% uptick is what we've seen today. Richard, just quickly, could you tell us what are the next levels that you're spotting for the Nifty?
23,800 was the previous swing high that was seen in the at the start of the February. So I think that's the last higher top which was made during the pullback move. So as per the Dow theory, once that is negated, that we would again see that high top high bottom confirmation. So I think as of now, of course, from the lower levels we have already seen a good up move supported by very high levels. Very high volume. So I think 23,800 would be the near-term resistance to watch out for in case of any pullback move, but it remains a buy on dip market now. In case if you get any such pullback from this resistance, one should rather look for buying opportunities on dips.
Okay, so if buy on dips is your strategy, Richard, for a market like this, what are the stocks that you're liking at the moment? Where are you seeing pockets of value right now?
There's a couple of recommendations where we have not seen any sharp moves in last few days, and the risk reward ratio is favorable over here. One is DV's Lab, where the stock has traded in a broad range since last few months. From that around this 200-day exponential moving average support, the stock has recently formed a double bottom pattern. So I think in spite of the market which has moved significantly over last few days, DV's is one of the stock where the risk reward ratio is still favorable. So one can go long over here with stop loss below 5,800 for potential targets around 16,100. And metal specific has been specific metal stocks are looking positive since we have also seen a sharp correction in the dollar index, and metal stocks usually have an inverse correlation with the dollar index. So in copper within the metal space, the stock has formed a good support base and has given a breakout from an inverted head and shoulders pattern on the lower time frame chart. So in copper is one stock from the metal space which we expect a short-term outperformance. So short-term traders can look to buy this stock with stop loss below 231 for potential targets around 250.
Okay, so those are the picks coming in from Richard, DV's Labs and Hindustan Copper. Richard, on that note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing your outlook on the road ahead for the markets. But well, from one expert to another, let's talk about a big market voice that we had on our show earlier in the day. We interacted with Pratik Agarwal, the Executive Director of Business and Investment Strategy at Motilal Oswal Asset Management Company. He shared with us a list of sectors he's bullish on, and that's quite a few sectors. So let's go across and listen in to find out what he's liking amid the current market setup.
So we think renewable have a good 2 years of very good growth visibility, as does EMS, as does luxury. NBFCs in lenders, capital marketplace, some of them will do that. And yes, defense, I think some of the names in cap good side shall also do that. So that is what is a lot of our portfolios.
Okay, that's the word coming in from Pratik Agarwal on what he's liking and what has made it to his portfolio amid a market like this. But time now to throw some light on what the F&O space was up to today. Equity looking very solid. Let's take a look at what the F&O space was up to. For the index futures trend for the March expiry, remember this is going to be, this Thursday rather, is going to be the last expiry of this week, of this month and of financial year 25. So lots of volatility is something that we can expect. On the back of that, of course, India Wix has already started its March upwards today. But on that note, let's touch upon what the F&O space was doing for the March expiry. Long build-up being seen on both Nifty and Nifty Bank, so nothing surprising over there. India Wix, of course, shot up in today's trading session. Active calls then for, let's take a look at the active calls for the Thursday expiry, which is 27th of March. We've seen call buying at 23,800 and 23,900. We do not have eye on the resistance level right now, and in fact, that is a very positive thing for the market because the kind of momentum we've seen, breaking the 100-day DMA for the first time in 2025 and 6 consecutive days of gains coming in for our market. The market doesn't have visibility on the top side right now, which is something that's a healthy indicator for our markets. On the flip side, for put writing for the 27th March expiry, we've seen some put writing happen at 23,500 and 23,400, making 23,500 the next support level to watch out for. So that's what's been happening when it comes to the F&O world. But let's also bring on board my colleague Rabinder, who's waiting by with a list of all the stocks that were in the spotlight in today's trading session, just to brush up the ones that were in focus and the ones that you can keep in your mind in tomorrow's trade as well. Rabinder, take it away.
Well, L&T is in focus, where L&T Energy Green Tech Limited and John Cockrell has signed an MOU to explore various technologies in concentrated solar power and thermal energy storage. Moving to next, Reliance Industry were also in focus, where company has informed that company has completed acquisition of 74% equity stake of Neoyan Shipyard Private Limited with cost of rupees 383 crore. Moving to next, Godrej Property were also in focus, where Godrej Properties has acquired 10-acre land parcel in Bangalore, and the project will have an estimated revenue of rupees 2,500 crore. Apart from this, BHEL is in focus on back of brokerage note, where Antique has come out with a note on BHEL, and they have given a buy rating with target price of rupees 300. They say that the company's futures look bright, with around 4 gigawatt of new order expected soon, and performance is also set to improve in FY26 as higher margin project recently secured will start begin executed, and BHEL is expected to get total order worth of rupees 3 trillion between FY24 to 27. And earnings are likely to grow at a very high rate of 149% per year over this period. Moving to next, Jindal Stainless were also in focus, where Nuvama has come out with their note on Jindal Stainless, and they have maintained their buy rating, but they have cut the target price to 723 from 836. They say that due to weak export and firms imports, GSL has to divert volume to low margin segment, which will hurt company's margin, and management has deferred setting up downstream operation at Jaipur by 8-9 months, which was earlier expected by H1 FY27, and Nuvama has lowered its EBITDA estimate for FY25, 26 and 27 by 5%, 10% and 13%.
Okay, Rabinder, thanks for taking us through all the stocks that were in the spotlight today. But on that note, let's move on and listen into the word coming in from Pushkar Johari, the MD and Head Private Equity at ValueQuest, as he shares his insight into market dynamics and how Indian companies stack up against their global counterparts. Let's go across and listen in.
When we look at portfolio construction from a private equity lens, what I'd like to do is a bit of risk diversification. So I'd like to take exposure to energy transition, but I'd also like to take exposure to other sectors which can create significant value for investors. So our lens on tech-driven businesses is that our shopping behavior is changing, our own habits in terms of we are embracing technology a lot more strongly, whether you see that in terms of our shopping behavior or in terms of how we are consuming products, both from a B2B and a B2C lens. And there are technology businesses which are now maturing very nicely, and they're building very unique businesses which are challenging the incumbents. Similarly, on aerospace, we have found some very interesting businesses. We have invested in 2 such companies. One is investment in a company called Unimec, which is focused on civilian aerospace, and they make tools and components for aircraft engine repair and maintenance.
I want to understand in cricket terminology, what is your assessment in terms of areas of growth, where you see 2020 kind of growth, which are the pockets where test match kind of growth can happen, and mix of both ODI kind of thing. If you can identify these 3 buckets for us.
See, private equity, I would say, is more like one day to a test match, right? You need
longer
businesses
innings
to grow
yes.
Strongly, but you need them to grow for a long period of time.
Right.
Our hold periods are typically longer. Classic private equity deal, growth stage, you'd want to hold for about 5 years. So you want to see that value creation happen year after year after year, right? So if you're going to own a company for 5 years or 20 quarters, it's not that every quarter will be a great quarter, but by and large, most of the quarters you want to invest in businesses which give them the best chance of growing solidly, creating value over long periods of time. So I think we are more from a cricket parlance, more test match and one-day players. I think for us, it's not about making a quick buck. So to give you an analogy, if I have 2 investment ideas, one in which I can make 50% upside in a year versus one where I can make 25% upside sustainably over every year over the next 3 to 4 years, I would go for the latter over the former, because what happens after that 1 year upside? I would have to sell, and then for the next few years, I may not get that kind of growth. So private equity is taking a long lens on businesses and sectors and seeing that those businesses are able to stay stronger for longer.
Okay, that's the word coming in from the top boss at Value Quest, but let's move on and talk about a stock that was up and away in today's trading session, and that's BEML on the back of the defense sector and the buzz that we've seen in that space and if it's ready for the next leg of growth. We interacted with the management, and BEML's partnership with Dragflow is aimed at improving power plants efficiency. According to Shantanu Roy, the CMD at BEML, listen into what else he had to say about the company's growth roadmap.
Cutter suction dredger market is not only about the desilting of the riverine system, but it is also about improving the efficiency of our power plants, the hydropower plants. Each meter of siltation costs around 45 crores in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the power generation. So with this in mind, there's a huge market. And this partnership of BEML with Dragflow, since there are no Indian manufacturers for such kinds of dredgers, this partnership is going to drive our maritime sector revenue over the next 2 to 3 years. I take a timeline of around 2 years for the first cutter section dredger to come out. And it's a comprehensive plan, a comprehensive strategy to enter into the maritime sector with these 4-5 partnerships for the maritime sector.
Okay, that's BEML. That stock was almost up 4% in today's trade. Let's pull up the charts of RVNL because that stock is also done pretty well in today's trading session. That's Rail Vikas Nigam on the back of multiple news flows and order wins. And we interacted with the management. MP Singh, Director of Operations at RVNL, he said that they expect international order book to reach the 30% mark in the next few years. He also adds that the first prototype of the Vande Bharat will likely be unveiled by May 2026. Let's go across and listen. And that stock was up by 2.8% in today's trade. Let's go across and listen.
Currently, we are on the path to achieve our target of revenue of 21,000 crore, and we certainly hope to even improve the turnover during this quarter so that our revenue target for the current year is met. We hope to further improve the order books from railways. In the recent past, we have won many orders from railways in field of triplicating and doubling of the railway projects. And we hope to improve our strike rate in railway projects during the current financial year. Currently, our order book from railways is around 47,000 crore from the assigned projects and roughly 8,000 crore from the project we have won through bidding. Now, we hope to see the first prototype of Vande Bharat rolling in next financial year, FY 25-26, maybe by say May 26, we hope to see.
Here's the word coming in from the management at RVNL. But with that, we're completely timed out on this edition of Your Trades. This is all that we could pack for you in terms of the market action today. And we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and the team that put this show together. Thanks so much for watching.